Welcome. Hey, this is so much bigger crowd than we had last year. And so I was trying to decide what it was, and I'm going to take credit. I bet you all came to hear our presentations today. Has nothing to do with this bottom of this thing that says there's going to be 10 grand prizes handed out. It's amazing what those prizes will be. I did have suggestions that said you can go ahead and do those first, and then we'll see what happens. But we're not. We're going to make you stick around. Well, welcome to your 87th annual meeting. We appreciate you all taking the time to be here, even if it is just to try to get a chance at those presents. But we do appreciate it. We've got the meeting won't take long. We're going to run through this thing and get to those. So I'm going to ask David Trogdon to come down and do the invocation for the meeting. Thanks.
If you would bow with me, we praise the Lord. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you, Lord, first off for the freedoms that we have to hold our meeting like this, and the freedoms we have in this country. They mean so much to us. And Lord, we just praise you and thank you for that. And as we celebrate our 87th annual meeting, I just give you thanks for the blessings that you have given this cooperative. You've supplied us with dedicated board members and dedicated employees who have all had the expertise to keep our power flowing. And we thank you for that. We pray that you'll continue to bless us in the future and the years to come, and just watch over our linemen when they're out on the lines, and be with their families. And again, we owe everything to you, Lord, and we just praise you in Jesus' name. I pray.
Patrick.
Okay, if you're willing and able, would you please stand with me? We're gonna recite the pledge this morning, or this afternoon. Sorry, it's usually morning. And, I don't know how often you get the opportunity to say the pledge to our flag, but I will tell you that every month when we meet as a board, you've just experienced how we start ours, and I think that helps with a lot of the decisions that we make, and the unity that we hold as a board and under their leadership. This is how we kick it off. We pray to the Lord, and then we bless Him for the country that we live in. So if you wouldn't mind remain standing after the pledge, our entertainment's going to come back up and lead us in the national anthem. All right? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They're going to lead us. They're going to. I'm on. Go ahead.
Get too close.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, through those stars and bright stars, through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly
We do start out all of our meetings almost like that, but when we get to that part, it doesn't sound anything like that anymore. I thought we were good too. This time, Sean, our attorney, is going to come and give us some notices.
Good afternoon. Based on a membership of 27,434 members, and our bylaws, requirement for quorum is 294. As of 12:43, we had registered 891, so we do have a quorum to conduct business. The notice of the meeting was sent out in the July Rural Missouri Magazine. This time I would take a motion to waive reading of the notice and proof of mailing. Do I have that? Do I have a second? All in favor? Any opposed? We also have the agenda that was also mailed out July 23 in the Rural Missouri. I'd take a motion to approve the agenda as published. And a second? All in favor? Any opposed? It's approved. Thank you.
I think so. Next will be Ron Crichton.
Good afternoon. It's my responsibility to get approval for the minutes that were published in the July issue of the Rural Missouri and also the treasurer's report. At this time, I would be open for a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes. Second? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Same thing, the July issue of the Rural Missouri Treasury report was published. At this time, I would ask for a motion to dispense with the reading of the name. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? You're getting a little closer to your gifts.
Should only be an hour and a half or something. If this thing comes on. If it doesn't, we're going to be in good shape. Well, as the president, I'm going to give you a report, kind of a report for the last year. And what I really want to tell you is that this co-op has continued to grow, and it grew again this year. Last year in 2022, there were 37,020 services that we had at the end of June. I took it off the books from then. And at the end of June this year, there was 37,456. So 436 new services that our guys added and took out, replaced. I want to give always at this time, the ones that everybody makes this thing work, but the one that really makes the electricity get to your house are the lines and the hinges. So kind of the focus of my report today, the number of meters that we have, the 37,456, out of those meters, there are 36,972 of them that are non-net metered. They are just regular residential, they're just regular services. They don't have any solar, no wind, no other thing on them. So as times change and as we go through this world of change or what we're going through, as a board member, our focus has to be on the member. We have to be sticking up for our membership. And we do that through looking at surveys that you all take with responses that tell us what you want. And it still remains to be that your concerns or what you really want, the majority of the members, is affordable and reliable power. Would everybody say that that's what they want? So, and that's a common theme everywhere. It's what everybody wants. And last week, from the District 9 down at Cape Fair, we had a windstorm, And guys, I was out for 24 hours. That's longer than I've ever been out even in an ice storm. I don't know what happened. But anyway, everybody wants to have reliable electricity, and they want it to be an affordable thing. And that's kind of what this whole thing has been built on. And those are the things that we have to keep our minds on in every board member, in every decision that we make. Really, we think we're doing the best for the majority of our membership. As you probably know, our way of thinking about the affordable and reliable energy is under attack in the United States. The current timelines that we have, or that not us have, but Associated, our power generators, have to decommission our base load plants, our coal and our natural gas, fossil fuels. They put a time limit on it and said those are going to be gone by 2035. And that would be great if we could be as clean. If we could be green, if we wouldn't have to burn any of those, that would be great. And I think that's what everybody's striving for. But by putting that time limit on it and saying you're going to take those out, we are really concerned that out there, when that happens, there's going to be some not very reliable energy. There's going to be some rolling blackouts, and it scares us, and we want to protect that. So the CEO, general manager at Associated Electric, David Tudor, and he is a very bright person in this electric business. And they came up with a 3 T's slogan or buzzwords or whatever, but the 3 T's that he talks about are we have to have technology, transmission, and time. I don't know if that's the right order of what he says, but we need to make sure that the technology that we have is sound and that we have the transmission lines built to put this stuff out there. But what we're going to have to do that is time. And by putting a time limit on getting rid of our other base load is really, we think, not a very responsible thing to do. So that brings me to my next point, that in order to fight this, and that's what, I'm not much of a fighter really, and I've found out here lately that I won't hardly start a fight, but when somebody wants to start one, I do kind of enjoy getting in the middle of it. Don't know why. I even get whipped in my dreams every now and then, so I don't think I should fight. But in order to do this, we're probably going to have some of you all's help in some grassroots efforts to take our opinions to be heard in Jefferson City and maybe even on them to Washington, D.C. And I think we have an excellent avenue or an excellent thing set up with what Patrick has done with his video blogging every month. Has everybody seen on Facebook every month when are you all friends of the co-op and have seen Patrick's? A few of you have. All of you need to go to look at them. There's in several other platforms. Do we have it on? I don't know what all we have it on. But what I'm going to ask you to do, if you can, is to listen to those videos. Watch his videos and listen to what he says. He gives us a report every month of what's coming up, what's happening, things that we need to be concerned about. So I went back and watched the last 12 months. This won't take long, will it? No, I went back and watched the last 12 months of his videos, and I'll just tell you a little bit about what I just gathered a sentence out of each other one. August of 22, we welcomed a new board member, Darren Bowles, wherever he's at, and he's done a great job. In September, we were getting ready for winter. We're stocking up, but we can't stock up because we have supply chain issues, and that's a broken record in this thing. Is that every month it is supply chain and cost of goods is going to be an issue. Also in that month, and some things happen that same month every year, but we get a KRTAs, or key ratio trend analysis. They condense it for us and we look at it, but we compare our co-op to all the ones that you can compare them however you want. Other like size in the state, other like size in the United States, whatever you want to do. But we do look at that and try to not really lead in any area, try to be kind of there in the middle, and we've done a really good job at that. October, Hurricane Ian was coming in, and it was going to be, could be an issue, but still in his report, it was supply chain and cost lead times of equipment and supplies. In November, it led off with supply chain and supply costs. We were notified in that month of a 4% increase that we were going to get we announced our service availability raise that you all saw from $27.50 to $31 on your bill. We were able to do that and absorb the 4% by doing that. But, who knows how long that'll be able to last or whatever. I think Patrick's going to go over that a little bit more in his thing. But in December is a time whenever we get our budget together for the next time. They've been doing it for a long time, but they present it to the board and we look at it. We did pay capital credits again that time. And I know that I've had several people call me, tell me they appreciate seeing that on their bill whenever it happens. But there's still in the underlying undertones, material shortage, supply chain issues. January, we have the other thing that we can't control, record cold. And we were using Facebook to keep the members informed and really didn't have any, we went through that pretty well and everything was, handled it really well and didn't have any outages or any sustained outages. In February, we had a kind of a surprise, but he talks about in his thing, we talk about our stance on renewable power, renewable energy and how we're going to handle it or how we're going to talk about it or what we're going to do. But the supply chain issue is still in there. March usually is whenever we're getting ready for spring. We're looking at all the system updates we're going to have. Kind of the storms are still happening a little bit, but it's a busy month. We actually hire some lineman interns from the colleges around here, helps them out with their programs, give us a great base to kind of have people, linemen in the queue whenever we need to hire some new ones or in times of need. April is our lineman appreciation month. Still waiting for them to apply to, but again, April or you guys' month, and we hope that we can show that. May, go through the youth tour and the other things that we do in our communities, our high school scholarships. June was the IRA Inflation Reduction Act. Talked about it and how we were looking at different things and still supply chain issues were in there. And then July, the hot weather had happened. So most of these things are either weather related or they are things that happen every year. But this thing has to be looked after all the time. And these guys do a great job doing that and fortifying the system and making it better. And we've done lots of changes and have kept it pretty well within our budget, even though things have gone up the way they have. So as you go through those things, and you can go back and look at any one of those if you have anything that you want to look at any particular month or anything that I said, or you can get a hold of Patrick if you have any questions or anything on that. But I would encourage you to start watching that every month so that we can communicate with you. We can get all that when things are going south, that we can tell you and interact with you. We're wanting some interaction back too. If you've got ideas or you know what's going on, maybe you could tell us better than we think. But anyway, probably we've looked at it or somebody's looked at it if it's come across your mind. So get a hold of us or get a hold of them or get a hold of me. Get a hold of them to talk about it. So I just want to assure you that this board is doing everything that we can to represent the majority of this membership to keep our electricity needs supplied as safe and affordable and reliable as we can. And I'm going to say this next thing against legal counsel. I mean, I asked him about it. He said he probably wouldn't do it. But I want you to get your pencils out because I'm going to give you my cell phone number. And if you have a problem, I want you to call me, okay? And I was going to give Ron's number on this one, but I decided to let him get my own. And I will tell you, I probably won't answer it if I don't recognize the number. But if you'll leave me a message or text me, I will get back a hold of it if I can figure out it legit. Ready? It's 417-239-4799. That was probably a bad deal whenever I did that just then. I told them, though, if it was, I'm needing a new phone number anyway. So if it says it's out of service, that's what happened. I just got overwhelmed. No, we really do appreciate you guys coming. I appreciate being on this board and what it stands for. I do want to say I appreciate the interest that we had in the board this last time. I think that's what it takes. This is a democratic thing that we live in, the democratic properties, principles. We need to be involved, and you need to be involved. Although I do know that you just came here for the prizes. So if you don't win a prize, don't call me about that. All right, I thank you, and I'm going to have Patrick's going to come up and get the general manager report. Thanks.
Okay, leave your pens out because I too want to repeat Steve's number for you to be able to call. Okay, that was pretty dangerous, Steve. Way to go. All right, listen. I've got a few minutes here. You know, the etiquette for me is, and truly, I want to thank everyone that was responsible for this. You see a lot of green shirts like this walking around. That's Ozark Electric. That's our people. And like Steve said, that's what makes it all go. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart, everybody that is at Ozark Electric that helps pull this thing off. The lead, yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah. Specifically, you know, we have different departments within Ozark Electric, and we have a member services department, and that looks out for your interests and takes up your cases in so many different things. And the manager of that department is John Davis, and he's got two incredible team members, Anna Ely and Grayson Cole, and they put in year-round planning and logistics for dealing with our strategic partners to make sure that there are gifts here and giveaways and things like that, and also to secure this facility, to set it up, to, you know, take care of the food. And so I want to thank John and his folks specifically for leading all the rest of Ozark Electric through this endeavor to make sure that it is a success for you guys. And so if you don't mind, if you would give John and our member services department a round of applause. Also, the school here. This has been a great. Who can remember going out to the research farm? Show of hands. You know, we have some retirees here that remember setting up the tent, doing those things out in the heat that we're experiencing today. And it's incredible to have this strategic partnership with the school. We're thankful and indebted to the school board and its members for allowing us to do this with the administration's blessing and then with their staff help to just lay out everything for us today. It's nice to be able to come in and do that, so I'd like to thank them. I'd like to thank Mount Vernon Police Department for showing themselves as a presence here and making themselves available for us to do that. Let's see, what else have we got? The Association of Missouri Electric Cooperatives being here to help us with our voting. You know, we've come a long way. It used to be the paper ballots and all those things. Now you bring that barcode or unique QR code off of your rural Missouri. We register you. You're tapping that stuff into a phone or an iPad, and it helps streamline the whole process. So those of you that are here, we have an equal number that went through our drive-through offering so that we could try and meet the needs of more of our membership in doing that. So I want to say thank you for that. And now I'm going to cover a few things on my speech. You know, I've done this on the video, and I appreciate Steve saying something about the video that I produce with Grayson's help every month to try to give you a little bit of here's the state of the union. This is what we're up against. These are the things that are tracking well. These are things that are challenging to us. And I get out and I visit with you folks, and I get to see some of you that are here. I love seeing you. And it honestly seems like once a year I see you. But it's always great. I get to talk to you. And throughout the year, though, I get to travel and pull in your driveways and talk to you, or I bump into you at things that I do or you're at. And the number one question I get asked is not, hey, how's employee morale? Or, when's your next company picnic? Or are you going to buy a new truck? The thing I get asked the most is, are you going to raise my rates? I mean, you chuckle, but it's real, right? I mean, since I said it, do you want to know? I want to know too. But at this meeting right now, at this time of how, and I'm just going to try and let you have a look behind the curtain as to how the grid, specifically in Southwest Missouri, as it relates to Ozark Electric, the timeline runs, okay? So right now, leading up into August, and things are going to kick off. You've got enough data, 6 months of it collected to see where things are at for energy deliveries, fuels, all those kinds of things. What's the price of trying to, you saw that video, and that was a fantastic video that Grayson put together for us, and it summarizes you know, a lot of what has been the steady drumbeat for what we face. And that's just, man, do we keep up with buying what a system that's 5,000 miles long in 9 counties with 37,000 meters on it? How do we take care of it? Because you have several options. We could say, you know what, because of the increase in costs, we're going to do a stand down order. And we're going to keep the garage doors down, and we're going to keep the trucks parked, and we're only going to be an outage response system. Only an outage response company. We'll only roll trucks and personnel when there's outages. That's one way you could go, right? You could also say, you know what, we're going to stop buying the materials, products, and inventory that we need to take care of that 5,000 miles of line and the 37,000 meters that are on it. I'm glad I serve for a board that says, no, that's not what our members deserve. That's not what our members have encountered for the 87 years that we've been an entity. We've been proactive in taking care of that system. We stand it back up when it falls down. We've had some falling down due to storms and the weather of being blessed to live in the Ozarks the last month. And so those costs, they add up and they keep coming. And we took action over a year ago to try and combat some of that stuff. It's still, there's some loosening in the supply chain, but the costs aren't reciprocating and dialing back down. So those things keep marching in an upward trajectory. An upward trajectory means more expensive. So what I would tell you as we're looking at it, and as we continue to keep an eye on it, what we do at the Ozark Electric board level is we take a look at what are those drivers, what's significant, what would that do to the projections, because we've got years and years and years of data. And if you've got weather data, then you've got sales and supply data where it tells us how our system behaves and how much of that we need to go out and secure on the grid to deliver to your homes. And we want to do that in an affordable and reliable way. I know the American dream that I try to live means that I have power 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And I want to be on an electric company that will make that American dream happen for me. I don't think the American dream is to do with less or to deal with inconvenience. I think it is to make sure that we do that in a progressive yet attainable, metered approach. Because a lot of hasty decisions lead to painful decisions, or that's what I've experienced in my life. Unless you're batting 1,000 and just being impetuous and making, decisions that never backlash on you, I've learned that when I've been impetuous, when I've been foolhardy, when I've run steaming ahead, it has created pain for me. So I'm glad I serve at a place where we take a look at the landscape, make sure that everything that's out there is being weighed, and we're not going to go swing too radically on the pendulum this way and create a pain point for our membership, and we're not going to lag so far behind that we're wondering what's going on. Some of the things that we've learned about the Inflation Reduction Act is that Ozark Electric has been very proactive in implementing technology for smart grid, for grid resiliency, for grid hardening. Some of the things that are buzzwords that are in the IRA. We just sent staff and personnel this last week to a 2-day training all day long to take a look at whether or not we could qualify for some of that stuff. It becomes more of a challenge for us because what we're learning on first blush on the IRA is that some of the things that we've already done that are proactive in the deployment of digital meters and some of the SCADA and online options that we take care of for tracking the health of your grid, that ship has sailed. And so there aren't funds available for us. Now, if there are entities, municipals, investor-owned, or cooperatives that have not yet done that or engaged in that, it's going to be more advantageous for them to go and try and partner with that IRA money and come up to and meet and join what the folks that have already been doing that can join in and do. So as we look at all those things that are taking place as far as congestion on the grid, mobility that's on the grid. Right now, currently, through July, the state of Missouri is ranked number 7 in the country for rates, kilowatt hours that we're charging. That's a great place to be. Our neighbors that are down here, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Kansas, they're in the top 20. So Associated, using the resources that they've got, uniquely placed in the center of the United States, beholden only to themselves, but having interconnection into the surrounding area, is a business plan that has helped us stay where we're at in those rankings. So in the future, if there's other pressures that come out of generation or move through transmission and hit Ozark Electric, we will have to move in some form or fashion to stay ahead of that. Because over the last several years, pre-pandemic to today, we've absorbed as much as we can possibly absorb through all those things that should have been driving us into increases prior to what we've done, and put us in a different position. So over the next several months, our generation companies will be taking a look at what their projections into the next year are. That's going to be shared with the transmission company that delivers to us, and then that will make it to us. And I'll have some good numbers in October. And so as soon as we know whether or not that's going to trip action by us, you guys are going to know. Facebook and what I say on that is the most readily available. But it will go out in my PowerPoints that I write for the Rural Missouri. John and his folks from Member Services will also publish that. As soon as we know, and we're going to take an action, we don't hold that back from you. It has served this board really well. These guys have led for many, many years, and some of them were on the board before I was there. And so I've gotten in line behind them, and they've said transparency. And so transparency carries the day. And so if we're considering that, or if it's on my radar, I wanted to use this opportunity to tell you that is what I've taken a look at. If that pushes us into movement on something, you're going to know. We're not going to hold that back from you and say, hey, listen, all of a sudden it's an ambush situation. We're going to let you know so that you've got as much lead time as possible to make any adjustments that you need to. Hopefully, things move in the right direction. Meters are spinning today like crazy, right? So, I mean, we're selling it today, and if we're selling it, other entities aren't too. So, we chart this thing as a nonprofit to make margins to stay in business, and to also retire capital credits. You guys are not overseas, last I checked. Our stakeholders are sitting right in here. We're not trying to make margin, profits, and extreme revenue for investors that are overseas. Who we take care of are in the counties that we serve. They're our neighbors and they're people that we encounter every day. We don't forget that, okay? And so we're going to do what's fiscally responsible to make sure that we stay in a good operating revenue position to take care of the system that you guys entrust to us to make sure it stands up for you. All right? Thank you again so much for coming. I appreciate it.
Okay, now for the election results. In District 1, Wendell Bolin received 483 votes. Fred Wickizer received 224. In District 5, Ryan Post received 387 votes. Philip Kleibacher received 296. In District 8, O.D. Cope received 503 votes. Marla Simmons received 195 votes. So Wendell Bolin, Ryan Post, and O.D. Cope are elected to a 3-year term. Congratulations. Under the proposed bylaw, Proposition A, the yes votes were 687 and the no votes were 40. So Proposition A passes. All right. Okay. I've been made aware of no unfinished business. Does anyone have any? Is there any new business? Seeing no new business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? We are adjourned. Stay in your seats. I think there's going to be some prizes.